Welcome back. I promise you the gentleman we're about to introduce to you is quite a delight. And he's a captain flying for United Airlines, and he's been doing this for quite a while. He's Captain Idris Adebayo, pilot, CEO, inspiring success in Generation Next. Captain, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Sheon, right?
No, Jeffrey is my name.
Jeffrey, I'm sorry.
This is Coyote.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Fantastic. I know you're all dressed up. Like, are you flying this morning or anything?
No, I'm not. I just had to look the part.
Okay. Oh, fantastic. You know, there are so many people who wanted to be what you are. Yeah. They wanted to be captains, they wanted to fly, pilot, and all of that. It's a career path for them, but somehow it didn't work out. So let's begin to speak to this, because I know you're quite passionate about such things, inspiring people. Before we talk about your journey, because your journey is quite critical for us, which is why you're here.
Yes.
Talk to us about the people who couldn't make it to become pilots. What do you think you can say to them to encourage them first, though?
Well, it's something that bothers me as a person, and this is why I say so. Between 2017 and 2018, I did a lot of career talks in schools, high schools around here in Abuja, and universities. And you see, the kids enjoy the flow. Tell them everything about flying, the beauty of the skies and things like that. They enjoy it until you get to that point, the critical point. The question asked, okay, how much does it cost? And then when you tell them how much it costs to get flight training, everything dies down there. And it's very heartbreaking, I must tell you, because you get into a room, talk to a set of kids, get them all worked up, they are happy, right? Wow, I'm communing with a pilot. Until you get to that point, and that question comes up, how much does it cost? And everything dies down. And that deflated me as a person. And it's been like, it's been my life's work to see how can I, in a little way, assist or get those kids that are not super rich kids who also deserve a shot at what they want to be. Do you understand? So that was why this thing. Sometime last year, I took this new job, and I was given a very huge bonus. And I'm like, okay, what can I make of this? The first thought was, let's get maybe come to one of this, come to maybe Lagos, get a less privileged kid somewhere on the street, and okay, that has the interest and passion and the aptitude to become a pilot, to see, okay, maybe get sponsorship or something like that. But then the thought now came to my mind, like, okay, do you want to give someone a bottle of water or create a fountain? So I think creating a fountain means that you can reach out to not just one kid. It's not every year I'm going to be getting such bonuses. So you can reach out to not just one kid, but a lot more kids that might need that kind of support. So that was how this thing came up. I assembled a team, and I told the team from the day one that, guys, this is not a money-making thing. Everybody on the team are good by themselves. They have good jobs, so they don't need the money from here. I said, we don't have too much money, but let's set up something where we can invest this. And we spoke about two concepts. The first concept is compounding. The second concept is delayed gratification. We're members of this business, want to run a business, but we want that money to roll over many times. So we can move it from something like, say you have 10,000 naira, and roll it over a 2-year period,
right,
until you get, say, 200,000.
So that's your own way of ensuring that people are not left behind, despite the fact that they can't become pilots. But you left some questions unanswered. Don't worry, you wouldn't deflate us. How much does it cost to become a pilot?
Well,
to get training, average.
In the US, where I trained, it's on average about $70,000, and it could go as high as $100,000. So you can understand when I say, you mentioned that to kids, and
it just deflates
them.
But let's be fair, right? Not And I know it's sometimes hard to swallow. I listened to a comedian recently who said that he was asked to speak to children, right? And then after I spoke to them, you know the joke, right? After I spoke to them, the principal was angry that, why would you say all of that? And they asked, what did you tell them? And he said, well, I told them that not all of you will make it. That's brutal, but he was trying to say that's the truth.
That's a brutal
it's unfair, right? It's sadly,
yeah.
As much as we like to expect the best, but some of these things happen. So not everybody will become a pilot. I was looking at statistics. Perhaps the world has over 300,000 captains in total. That's compared to the millions of doctors that you have, hundreds of millions of teachers that you have. So there are some, occupations that naturally is for a select few.
Yes.
In that sense, right?
Yes.
So how are you able to pass the message across to them that, hey, I know you want to be a pilot. A lot of us wanted to be soldiers growing up, wanted to be a musician, wanted to be a rock star, this and that, but eventually life pushed you where you wanted to be. So how do you still pass that message across to them?
I'm sorry, I would never be as brutal as you were. Let me say that.
No, that is not me. I didn't say
that. But all we do is try to spread the message of hope.
Yeah.
Because especially when it comes to finances and things like that. Now, what we're doing with this, we actually started a fashion brand, and that fashion brand is meant to, it's all everything aviation. The main market is there in the US, selling to potential aviation enthusiasts, So they pick up a shirt, and you're making them understand that for every shirt you pick up, 20% of the profit from that purchase is going towards a less privileged kid in Nigeria to start with.
That's like a captain's shirt, right?
Not a captain's shirt, just shirts that have like aviation themed designs.
Oh, I see.
And it's not just shirts. We have polos, we have tracksuits, we have like bomber jackets. We have all of that in the product line. So the intention is sell to people that are enthusiasts, get the money from them, and see how you can assist these kids that need the support. And I mean, you can follow through with the story on our Instagram page. We have it's called Insinext Global. At Insinext Global, you can check that out, see what we have done over the years and where we are going with it. And then we have a different Instagram page, which is also
it's quite inspiring to see that you're quite passionate about giving people a chance. I remember, if there's anything I will not forget about Tony Lumelu, when he's asked questions about why he does this foundation and all of that, he simply says he wants to democratize luck. Because he said, besides everything he's done, he can't take away the fact that luck played a key role. It can be interpreted in many forms and many ways. But we cannot conclude this conversation without talking about your journey. How did you get into the aviation sector to become a pilot, now that you're trying to inspire a lot more young people to get into this very, as Kayode would say, elite space? Because this is not bus conductor work, with the greatest sense of respect.
I'll say I picked the bug at age 13. I got a chance to sit in the cockpit with the pilots. My dad was a pilot.
Okay. So in Nigeria or
in Nigeria. Oh. I schooled in Sokoto, FGC. And whenever I had to go to
school, or how did they say that? Is it up school?
Pro Unitate.
Ah, there you go.
Yes. So whenever I had to go to school, sometimes if the seats are all occupied, I get the chance, and I love that. I get a chance to go forward and sit with them. It wasn't, now it's not allowed, but it was allowed back then. So you sit there, and I just thought it was cool. What they did was cool, and I liked it. And, but I had to, I'm not from a rich background.
So how were you able to afford
Well, it took time. I didn't start if I'll call a friend from my secondary school and a friend from the university and somebody I served with, they'll tell you the same thing. Idris always wanted to be a pilot.
But your dad was a pilot.
Well,
so in that sense,
the
people seem as successful.
There were a lot of like highs and lows and things like that.
Right.
So, yes, he was, but still, the money for flight training is a lot.
Oh, I see. So you're comparing your own your wealth in some sense to how much it costs to pay for flight training.
Yes.
Because there are different levels.
Yes.
Because I'm sure people are comparing themselves and saying these people are very rich.
Yes.
But you're comparing yourself to the flight training money.
Yes.
Please go ahead.
So in winding down, how long did it take you to train
It took
How many hours have you done so far?
Right now, I have about going on 4,000 hours flight time.
So how long did it take you to be certified? You now flew solo. Just walk us through that particular bit, because that could be an inspiring moment for a lot of people.
Okay, I like the way it's structured. First, you're going to go, you get what we call the private pilot license. And even if you don't want to be a professional, you could get that and just get your own little airplane and fly around. So the private pilot license could take about four months or thereabout. And then you get what we call the instrument rating. Now the difference is the private pilot license is see and avoid. You're flying with your eyes out, looking at landmarks on the ground to get to where you're going to. But the instrument pilot, that's when you're allowed to fly into clouds. Do you understand? Where you don't have any reference to the ground, and then you can use your flight instruments to navigate from point to point. Then you get that one, it's a rating, then you get what we call the commercial license. With the commercial license, you can come to Nigeria and work. But in the US, no. You need to build, because with 250 hours, you could get a commercial license. But you need to build that time to about 1,500 if you were in the US to be able to get onto the airline cockpit. Oh. Yes. So a lot of people do pipeline flying. We do flight instruction. I was a flight instructor. And then, so that was the way I built my own hours, by instructing other kids to get to where they wanted to get to. So after that, then you get into the airline cockpit, you start on the right seat. And after you built enough experience there, you have what we call the airline transport pilot license, and then you move to the left seat. The left seat is where you get the full bars, the 4 bars. And that's when you get called captain.
So the left seat is the seat.
Yes, yes.
Ah, beautiful.
Fantastic. And we must commend you for what you do, just not flying alone, but seeing how many people can join you in that cockpit from the streets. That's quite vital. It's commendable. Thank you.
Thank you.
Captain Idris Adebayo is a pilot and CEO, inspiring success in Generation Next, joining us right here to inspire us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.